today's video, I thought it would be fun to look inside of my eyeshadow palette collection and tell you guys the 6 palettes I would keep if I could only have 6. All of the other eyeshadow palettes are gone forever. These are the ones that I would pick to keep with me forever. So I hope you guys look forward to seeing this video. Let's go ahead and get started. So I've seen this video go around. I believe most people do 10 palettes. I think it's like if I could only keep 10 eyeshadow palettes, but I wanted to narrow it down even further and only do 6. I started polling and I was like, honestly, I feel like I wouldn't even need 10 because these 6 palettes are just like that good that I feel like I would be satisfied if I only had these palettes to work with. And I feel like this is all just for fun, but in my head I'm thinking, okay, I need a little bit of color, I need this, I need that. So it's kind of fun to think about like what I would actually need in palettes if I could only keep these ones. Honestly, I feel like I don't need makeup to survive by any means. I'd be fine with just doing like a wing like this and I'm good to go. But I would have such a sad life if I didn't play with eyeshadow. So I feel like I would need some eyeshadow palettes. So the first one I actually picked out was kind of more of a colorful option, and this is from Collidos, and this is their Flower Punk palette. Now I was kind of thinking I wanted some more colorful options, but I didn't want too colorful of a palette because I feel like I probably wouldn't reach into it much, but this one was kind of like the perfect one because there are some more colorful shades in here, but there also are a lot of fun yellows in here. I absolutely adore Collidos' formula. They're actually one of my favorite eyeshadows, if not my favorite eyeshadow formula, so I'll talk about another palette that I picked from them in a second, but I just love this palette. I think it has a lot of fun to it. I don't have a lot of these shades in my collection. It's really just like these yellows and mustards that I love so much in here, and I feel like this one, it just brings me a lot of joy, and it's one that I would find a lot of joy using, so I love that. It also has the blues in there, which I do love, like the blue greens that this palette offers, and I also thought like if I needed a mirror ever on the go, I had this as well. That was kind of like something that ran through my head too. And next I want to talk about one that is the complete opposite of that. This one is like the most little boring little basic palette, but I chose it as one of my top 6 because I love this palette. I absolutely love this palette. I use it all of the time. This is the Urban Decay Naked Mini 3, and you're looking at this like it's so boring, it's so basic, but like I feel like I want something like this in my collection if I were to have a smaller collection, mostly because I feel like a lot of days I'm just doing a quick eye look. Like today I just have one color in my crease, I did a wing. I am a mom, so I feel like I know I like use that as an excuse, but also like we're so busy, we're on the go a lot, so like I don't have time necessarily to sit there and do a full face, and something like this is perfect for me because I feel like it's just enough to where I feel like I did something, but it's not too much. It's just perfect. I love this little palette. I use it, like I said, a lot. I actually love the eye looks I come up with this. It's very simple, so there's not a lot of shades to choose from. I feel like I create either 1 or 2 looks with this, and every single time I use it, I get compliments on it. It suits me really well, these colors, and I love this little guy. Also, if I was ever traveling and I needed a small palette, this would be perfect. I'm going to link all of them down below for you guys as well if you want to check them out. Next, we have the Mercury Retrograde. Who knew I was going to pick this? Because this is one of my favorite palettes, and again, it brings me a lot of joy, so I couldn't not have this one just because I just love this palette. It's one of my favorite formulas, Huda Beauty's formula, and I also just feel like the shades in here are just so fun. I love blues, and I know the other palette has a few like blue greens, but this one has those fun like pastel blues, and you have that really bright shimmer blue, so I feel like if I was ever feeling crazy, I needed to wear my blues, I have that in there. I also really love purples on the eye, and this one has quite a few purple shades. It has those neutral shades as well, and the shimmers in here are very like glittery and foiled, so if I was having like a girls' night out or something and I needed, you know, something like that, I feel like I could go in this palette and just be so happy. So I love this one, and it's just one of my favorites in my collection. I love the packaging, it's beautiful. I just love this one. And then I did also pick my Natasha Denona palette, very similar to the Naked from Urban Decay. This is just one that I can reach into, and I just know what kind of look I want to create with it. It's so pretty on the eyes. It's just like that effortless look, and I just love this one. I use it constantly as well. So here is what that one looks like if you haven't seen it. It's so pretty. I really get a lot of compliments when I wear this palette as well. I feel like it's just something about the way the shimmers look in here. They're almost like natural. I don't want to say natural, but like there's not a lot of like glitter in them and stuff, so I feel like they just kind of look like just like that special type of eye look, and I feel like when I wear this, I just like love the way that my eyes look. I feel like it really brings out, you know, my eyes. It draws attention to my eyes, and again, it's easy. I feel like the mattes in here are really easy to blend, so if I was ever just in a pinch and I need to do something really quickly, this is a great palette to reach into. But also if I wanted just like a dark like smoky eye, I feel like I can get it from this palette as well. I love like this chocolate shade here in the middle, and I love doing a dark smoky eye. It's one of my go-to looks, so something like that is very achievable with this palette, and it has so many of those fun shimmers in there that I feel like I wouldn't really get bored if I had this one in my collection. And then the next one, the reason I included this one is 1, I absolutely adore this palette, but 2, there's so many options in this one. So this is the It's a Mood from Colourpop, another one of my favorite formulas, and this one, it just has endless possibilities. every single time I use this palette, there is so much you can do with it. Like, I feel like I create a new look every single time I use this. It's never one that I get bored with. There's so much you can do with it. Not that I would ever need a glitter, but there are a couple little glitters in here. I feel like if I ever needed one, although like I said, I don't wear glitters a ton, so it's not really something I feel like I would necessarily need, but if I did, we've got those blues in there. I love purples. Like I said, we've got more of those like warm shades too, if I wanted like, you know, a brown look or a smoky, like natural look over here. I love cranberry shades as well, and you have those two right here. So I just feel like I could get a lot of use out of this palette. Also, I wanted to mention, where is it? This shade here, the shade Reunion. I love a good just like basic pink look, and I feel like that one is beautiful. So this one I feel like I would really like having in my collection, just because I can use it for various ways. Also, I like doing with this, I know I'm like also, but I love this palette so much. I really like doing just like an all matte look, and these shades, do like all three of these right here. It looks so simple, but like it looks really pretty on the lid. This shade all over the lid is just perfect if you're doing like a matte look. So I do have quite a few matte shades in here that I could pull from, or go into like my Natasha palette or the Hooded Beauty and kind of pair it with this, and I think it would work out really great. Then to round out my collection, I also chose another Collidos palette, and I love this little guy right here. This is the Cold Brew palette from Collidos. Again, I told you I love their formula. I think it is my favorite, honestly. If I'm like deciding, it is my favorite in my collection. I use this palette so much. Not this one in particular, because you'll be like, Molly, it doesn't look like you use it all. It's not. This is my brand new one that they sent my way. If you saw my old one though, I should have brought it down just so you guys could see it, but it's up in my makeup bag. I actually have this shade right here, came broken, so they offered to send me another one, but I've been using it even knowing it's broken. I mean, it still works the same. This is my just like going out palette. So like if someone texts me and they're like, hey, you want to go out and get drinks tonight? I'm like, this palette. If I'm going on like a date night with my husband, this palette. If I have a photo shoot to go to, this palette. Somewhere where I want my eyes to look dimensional and I still want to look just like, you know, like perfect, I feel like this is the palette to go into, and it's so easy. It's only 4 shades, so I'm like, why would I choose an only 4-pan palette? But it's because this is magical. This whole palette is just so good. I love my eyes when I use this. So I pretty much use all of the shades. So I'll start with this one, I go in with this one, and then I top it with that, and it's just, it's chef's kiss. So pretty on the eyes. I wear this on my birthday. Like literally anytime that I want to feel my best, I reach into this palette and it just makes me feel some type of way. The shadows blend incredibly, and the shimmer is just so stunning on the eyes. It has so much dimension to it, and it stays. That's the thing too. Like with some shimmers, you know, like they can kind of fade throughout the night. No, like this shimmer stays on my lid. It'll be, if it's like 3 o'clock in the morning and I had a rough night, it's still on my lid. Like it's so good. I love the packaging on this, and again, I could travel really nicely with this one because it is small as well. So after that palette, that is the last of them. So those are the 6 palettes that I would be keeping if I were getting rid of all of the rest of my eyeshadow palettes. Of course, I would hope that I never have to do that, because that would be a sad day. But I feel like I would be complete with the palettes that I did select. I feel like this video is fun to do because these aren't necessarily like all of my favorite palettes. Like, yes, I love them all, but I feel like there are other palettes that I love like even more than some of these, but I feel like it's more practical for me to have these palettes in my collection. And I'd love to know down below what some of your palettes you would choose for this are, and what some of your favorite palettes are perhaps. Thank you as always for watching, and do not forget to subscribe, as well as give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I'll see you very soon with a brand new one. Bye friends.